I suppose the other thing population centers are kind of synonymous with having weekly seminar series. And this had stopped a number of years before, and there was no way for which people to get together to talk. I feel that a center, to be meaningful, has to be an interacting community. People have to talk to each other formally and informally as well. So drawing upon my other experience, I tried to get the demography faculty, which was a small group, less than about 10 or 15 people. We reserved a table at the faculty club every week, so we would all have lunch together. Then we would go and have the demography seminar. And I tried to, prolong the seminar series by having a wine and sherry hour afterwards. That kind of flopped, but the luncheon kind of continued, though that after a while the center just got too big to be able to create that kind of Gemeinschaft kind of atmosphere amongst faculty members in the center. So I think having a lively seminar series was one of the things that I was very pleased of. Also, rather than to centralize ideas in one person, the director or another person, to try to diffuse responsibility as broadly as I could. So anytime anybody showed any interest in population or was responsive to whatever I asked them for their involvement, I put them in charge of something rather than just sort of allow them to be asked to do things, saying, well, here's the budget, here's the seminar series, put it together next year, whatever you want to do. Literally, they did. The same thing with fellowship selection committees, review of applicants to be faculty associates and so on, just try to put everybody in charge of something so they had responsibility and felt sense of not only of participation, but of ownership of the programs in the center. So those are the things I think I did, and I think most of those have continued. What do I miss about the center? I've never left, so I haven't missed anything. I've been very proud of my association and remaining close to it.
I found the intellectual interchange is very stimulating. As I say, I'm an economist by background, but I always had an interest in multidisciplinary work. Before I was at UW, I worked with a political scientist. And I worked at Wisconsin for several years in their poverty center, which had a lot of folks in sociology and demography in particular, and of course, economics, political science. So I always loved the interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary aspect of the center. And that's really, I think, looking back from 1987 to 2017 is the theme that probably is most important to me.
I think one of the things I liked best was actually writing up the proposal for the center back in 2001. It was incredibly stressful. If you've ever been involved in one of these, you know, right? But at the same time, it was so much fun to be able to think creatively and work together with other people to come up with a vision for what a center like CSDE can be, and what it can offer to its affiliates, and what kind of research it can offer to the world. I mean, it was really that part of it. If you can deal with the adrenaline, that part of it is really a joy. I also, though, miss working with staff, people like Matt Dunbar, and faculty to implement the vision. It was really, again, when it wasn't like a total, it was actually fun to troubleshoot problems, figure out solutions to things, because there were the staff that have worked at CSDE over the years have been so smart and so good and so dedicated. It is such a joy to work with them to figure things out. So,
well, I think that yes, it was the seminars. I mean, it was I love the staff also, obviously, but it was really the seminars and the interactions between the affiliates and so on. I think that the thing that I learned, the other thing I learned from CSDE was the special role that a population research center plays both in universities and in the social sciences. And I think that's one thing that I have brought here. It's been highlighted by conversations that I've had here with our current social science dean, who doesn't get it and who is always trying to push our pop center into, for example, declaring a major theme every year that we're going to work on. He really wants to, have, community stakeholders and work on sexy topics and so on. And I keep on trying to convince him that what a population research center does is provide services, is support the individual researchers and research teams that are out there doing the work that they want to do. And it's not our job to direct what people are doing in what we think is a sexy research area that will, get good headlines in the community. And so that is what I learned at CSDE, that what CSDE does is support brilliant researchers, the training of the next generation of brilliant researchers, and so on. And so that's, for me, what I learned.
I was going to ask you, Shelley, so from my perspective, I didn't know about the 2005, 2006 experience for you. I was sort of blissfully unaware. That was my first year. That was my first year at UW, and I felt very supported when I arrived at UW, and especially by CSDE. So I remember you pulled me in, I think it was 2007 or something, to be associate director or something like that, or training director. I can't remember exactly.
Training director, Sarah, but I think
Yeah.
I've established my memories are very hazy.
But I do remember, I was wondering if you might talk about the search, the decision to go with the search to hire Matt, the initiative. I felt like that was something that you were creative, because also under your watch, Mark got the funding for the RDC. And so we had these two kind of big initiatives that set us on a new path, very much along the lines of what you were just suggesting, service-oriented, facilitating the research of faculty.
Well, I've got to confess that I have very imperfect memories of the GIS initiative. It was clear that spatial analysis was the coming thing, that people needed to be able to learn how to use it and how to both understand what was going on and actually employ it themselves. And so it just seemed like an obvious way to go. But in terms of I think that's been borne out, definitely. I should say, relevant to this, our geography department here at UCSB, which is completely different from the geography department at UW, has a big group of demographers in it. They are actually in the hard sciences. The geography is not located in the social sciences, but they have this fantastic group of demographers, including, you may remember, Susie Castles, who is now the director of our Population Research Center.
Yeah.
And Susie is in the geography department, although she is clearly a central demographer. So I don't remember, and obviously there's tons and tons of spatial analysis of various sorts going on in that department, and it's closely connected to the work that we're doing here in the Broome Center. But I don't remember the details. I think, yeah, that's right. The RDC stuff was really just getting started while I was director, and certainly Mark is the one that brought that to fruition. It was clear that the distance from Seattle to the nearest RDC was a huge roadblock for our researchers in terms of getting their work done. And with a big university like the University of Washington, it seemed clear that there should be an adequate constituency to support an RDC in Seattle. And I think that during my last year as director, it was really a question of sort of identifying and pulling together that constituency and that community to really get the project rolling.
Right. So favorite thing about being at CSD, meeting an incredible range of people across campus. I mean, really, 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 that was, people down in public health, or people over in social work, or people in I mean, I remember when people first arrived over in the College of the Built Environment in the new real estate program and realizing what they were doing. That was so interesting to me. It's like, wow, I would never have met these people without being the director. And that really did open up the university to me. That nothing else, I think, I mean, there were sort of, administrative reorganizations. I don't really want to talk about those. I mean, they, is not something that I think of as being central to my career. It did change things, but it's not something that, yeah. I mean, intellectually, the center just basically gave me opportunities that uh, opened up to sort of doors for me to think about who to work with and so on and so forth. And it led very much to me working with a range of sociology graduate students, one of whom I collaborate with right now, Brad Foster, who is still employed by the Census Bureau. And yeah, and as a consequence of all of that and RDC work, I mean, I was one of the first external researchers to get access to IRS migration data. I mean that there's a line through CSDE that allowed that to happen. That wouldn't have happened without the trajectory I've been on.